How are you, everybody? Welcome to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Stephen Atkinson, and today we have a lot to get to in the NFL free agency in regards to Peyton Manning and going to the Broncos. What does that mean for Tim Tebow? Will we see him in New England or somewhere else? What have the Pats done in free agency? And a report about Logan Mankins playing the Super Bowl with a torn ACL. But first, we're going to start off with what everybody is talking about today, and that is about Peyton Manning going to the Denver Broncos. He's coming to an agreement with the Broncos for a 5-year, $96 million contract. He will be introduced today at 3 o'clock, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Peyton Manning will earn $18 million in 2012, $40 million in 2013-2014, and $19 million in 2015-2016, which makes him the highest paid player in the NFL, with Tom Brady second. Broncos players are also excited about Peyton joining the team. Broncos wide receiver Eric Decker said that he expects the offense to change with Manning now under center, and that the quarterback would run the system from the line of scrimmage. He also said, quote, "More of the offense will be in Peyton's hands." So kind of like a timeline of how Peyton Manning got started with the Denver Broncos. He called the Broncos on Monday morning and talked to Broncos Executive Vice President John Elway and Coach John Fox, who communicated the word to the rest of the organization. And Manning is now going to be the quarterback of the Denver Broncos, which means what happens now to Tim Tebow. And really, like I said last week, John Elway was really pushing to get Tebow because he didn't to get Manning because he didn't really like Tebow that much. And in order to get rid of Tebow, you have to sign a franchise quarterback. And what better way to sign a franchise quarterback is Peyton Manning, who's going to be a Hall of Famer, and now he won't hear it from his fans that Tim Tebow is gone. So I wish Peyton Manning the best. And, you know, when Friday came, when Manning went to Duke to work out for the Broncos, and Elway was there and Fox was there, and there was a report that came out that the 49ers had worked out with him earlier in the week, had already given him a physical, and they had already signed Randy Moss, and I think the next day, which was a Saturday, they signed Mario Manningham. So by like Sunday, I was thinking, well, maybe he's going to the 49ers because they have better receivers. They have basically a better team in general than the Broncos. But Monday morning comes and it's around 12 o'clock, and Manning called John Elway to tell him that I'm coming to you. And he also said he also called the Titans, and he called the 49ers and told them that I'm not going to come to you guys. And I think the owner of the Titans, Bud Adams, he said, quote, "I was hoping we would win out. I thought we'd be ahead of Denver. I thought he'd want to stay in Tennessee." And when Tennessee had a meeting with Peyton, he was walking in with an orange shirt, which I thought it was like, okay, he's just giving it away that he's going to Denver, but he did wear orange with Tennessee in college. But I think he did that. I think everybody knew that he was going to go to Denver. Everybody was speculating that. And now it's like, where is Tim Tebow going to go? And that's the second question. And the speculation now that Tebow could end up with the New England Patriots. Now, John Clayton of ESPN said over the weekend on ESPN radio, he says, quote, "Here's an interesting proposition, just a rumor. Let's say you have Manning going to Denver," which is true. Clayton said on ESPN radio over the weekend, quote, "Tim Tebow is probably going to be traded. He's not going to Jacksonville. They've already got Chad Henne. New England. You trade him to New England and groom him to be kind of a role player. And then you trade Ryan Mallett in some way. It's just a rumor." Now, my opinion on that is I don't see Ryan Mallett getting traded. If the Patriots bring in Tebow, I think that's a great idea. Because A, Josh McDaniels has worked with Tebow. He knows Tebow. He coached him. And I think if they bring in Tebow, they could use him as an option. They could use him as a fourth down type of person who is like a running back. Because Belichick, as he says in the Football Life documentary, he's not afraid to go for it on fourth down. So if there's a 4th and 2 situation, Tebow could be the perfect guy to get the ball in that close of a game to maybe get the first down. He could use him in special teams as a blocker. He's a great fit for the New England Patriots. Maybe like a running back too, to use him as something like that. I think it's a great fit. Tebow said in January after McDaniels rejoined the Patriots, he said, quote, "Coach McDaniels is a great coach and he'll do a good job." So, and Belichick said, quote, We brought Tim in and spent a whole day with him here, in addition to our intersections with him," Belichick said in December. "He's an impressive young man. He had great success in college. I think all his attributes are pretty well documented. He's a strong guy, smart, works hard, a great leader, great football character." That right there is saying Belichick really likes him too. And, Tebow is a great person. He's not a great quarterback, but he's a good football player. And he's probably the most respected players in the league. But the drama that comes with Tebow is kind of big, with last year and the Tebow mania and all that. But I think reuniting with his old coach McDaniels, getting him in this offense, and looking up to Tom Brady, and maybe he can get a few pointers from Tom Brady. Maybe can see how Brady runs things, because Brady's a Hall of Fame quarterback too, and he's probably top 5 of all time. So, and maybe like 4 or 5 years down the road, Tebow could get a starting position, maybe a starting position for the Patriots when Brady retires. Because if you think about it, Brady has probably 5 years left of his football career, and he'll probably retire with the Patriots. So you bring in a guy like this, Tebow, you build him up to maybe a running back, learn from Brady, learn the Patriots system. 5 years, why not? I think it's a great idea, and I hope Tebow comes to the New England Patriots. There are reports of him going back to Florida with Jacksonville, and I just don't see. My opinion is, with Jacksonville, he'll be a nobody in Jacksonville. My opinion, because there's really nobody he can look up to in Jacksonville. He's not really that type of guy who can go into something like that and just put it together and go 11-5. I mean, he won 8-8 last year with the Broncos, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens in these next few days where Tim Tebow goes. And I'd love him here in New England. That'd be awesome. So we'll see what happens. When we come back, we're going to talk about the New England Patriots free agency. They got Brandon Lloyd. They've also gotten Trevor Scott from the Raiders and Marquise Cole from the Jets. I'm going to give you my opinion on those guys when we come back on Sports Talk. Welcome back to Sports Talk. Again, I'm your host, Stephen Atkinson. We just finished talking about Peyton Manning saga and the Tebow mania. Now we're going to switch gears to the New England Patriots and the free agency and what they've been up to this last week. They have signed Brandon Lloyd. And that is a great fit for the Patriots. Great receiver. He can get open. Now, the only question is, where does that leave Deion Branch and Ocho Cinco? Personally, I think Ocho's gone. So, you have Brandon Lloyd, and they just got Dante Stallworth yesterday. So they've gotten two key receivers who were pretty good. Brandon Lloyd, here's an article from the NFL Network. It says, just when you thought the New England Patriots' reign of dominance was coming to an end, they go out and make another remarkable transaction, a move that makes general managers around the league shake their heads in astonishment. The Patriots signing Lloyd is another in a long line of savvy moves made by Belichick. If you're not a Patriots fan, you probably have little fondness towards Belichick, but just looking at his success as both a coach and general manager, one has to respect his NFL career. Brandon Lloyd is one thing the Patriots offense has been missing, a big play receiver, which they need. They really do need one. Over the last 2 seasons, Lloyd is third behind only Mike Wallace and Deshaun Jackson with 26 catches of 25 yards or more. Lloyd, combined with Rob Gronkowski, Wes Welker, and Aaron Hernandez, gives the Patriots 4 receivers who are routinely needed to be double-teamed over the last few seasons. It's impossible to imagine any defense being able to account for the team's multitude of threats in the passing game. Brady has so many weapons right now. Like it says here, they have Lloyd, they have Hernandez, Gronkowski, the two one of the best tight ends in the league. They got Welker. They just got Stallworth. They could re-sign Deion Branch. I personally like Branch. He's a great receiver. He was pretty good last year. So, yeah, I hope they keep Deion Branch because I thought he was good. Lloyd wasn't only a masterful signing because of how well he fits the Patriots, but also because of how much of a bargain he was for them. The Patriots signed Lloyd for 3 years and $12 million. If you compare the deal to some of the money less productive receivers have made this offseason, it shows how well New England made out. So that is pretty good. The Patriots are a cheap team. They don't like to give a lot of money. And, Brandon Lloyd was praising McDaniels when he was with McDaniels in Denver. He had career numbers. He had more yards in Denver when McDaniels was a coach than he did when he was with the Rams. And I know he's been with like a lot of teams in the last few years. He's had a tough time, but I think with McDaniels running that offense for the Patriots, and them bringing in all these Denver Broncos like Brandon Lloyd. They just signed a tight end from the Broncos yesterday as well, and that was Daniel Fells from the Denver Broncos. He's a tight end. I mean, this is an article from ESPN.com. It says the 28-year-old Fells received a 3-year deal that could be worth up to $7 million, according to a source. With a minimum total value of $5.25 million. The length of the deal is consistent with how the Patriots have approached free agency this year. They haven't signed a free agent to a deal longer than 3 years and have focused on the middle class of the roster. And again, they did sign Gallery, who was cut by the Seattle Seahawks earlier this month. He spent just one season in Seattle, where he missed time with the variety of injuries. It started with a sprained knee suffered in the preseason and a groin injury that required surgery. Gallery started in all 12 games he played for the Seahawks. Gallery was taken by the Oakland Raiders with the number 2 overall pick in the 2004 draft. Prior to that draft, Patriots coach Bill Belichick was asked at a news conference who he would select if he had the number 1 overall pick. His answer: Gallery. The 6'7", 325-pound Gallery has played for the Raiders in 2004 through 2010 and the Seahawks in 2011, and has experience at tackle and guard. So they got a few defensive players. They got a few receivers for Tom Brady, but they did need help on defense. And LaRon Landry, they did not get LaRon Landry. He went to the New York Jets and signed a 1-year deal for them. So I'm going to switch now to Logan Mankins, a report yesterday. This is from Mike Reese on ESPNBoston.com. He says, the surgery has altered the course of Mankins' offseason, making it highly unlikely that he will participate in spring minicamps. While Mankins hopes to be ready for the start of training camp in late July, his status is a consideration as Coach Bill Belichick builds the team's roster this offseason. On Monday, the Patriots agreed to a 1-year contract with veteran offensive lineman Robert Gallery, who has experience at guard. Mankins injured his left knee in the Patriots' 27-24 win over the Miami Dolphins. On December 24th, he missed the season finale, the only game he's missed in his 7-year NFL career because of injury. Before playing throughout the playoffs, one source said Mankins' injured knee was hit early in Super Bowl 46, and that it was later determined he had been playing through a torn ACL. Now, I don't know how he did that. That is worse than a Gronkowski broken ankle that Gronkowski suffered. I don't know how he did that. A first-round selection of Patriots in 2005, the 6'4", 310-pound Mankins signed a 6-year, $51 million contract with the team last August. Mankins' status is the only question facing the Patriots' offensive line. Left tackle Matt Light is strongly considering retirement, according to sources. So Logan Mankins had surgery, and that's really too bad that he was playing the Super Bowl with a torn ACL. That is pretty sad, because I think maybe they should have. I mean, it's the biggest game of your career. You really don't want to sit out the biggest game of your career. So I can see why he would want to play. He would want to play, because if I had a torn ACL and I was in the Super Bowl, I'd probably want to play too. So, because Gronkowski, he had a broken ankle, but he still fought through, and I like that. And they also signed a tight end, Trevor Scott from the Raiders, and the cornerback Marquise Cole from the Jets. This is from the Washington Post. Scott, a sixth-round draft choice by Oakland out of Buffalo in '08, spent 4 seasons with the Raiders. He started 16 of 58 games in which he played and had 13 and a half sacks. Cole, undrafted by the New York Jets out of Northwestern in '09, started 1 of 37 games he played, 3 there in 3 seasons, and had 2 interceptions. So I think, Patriots getting help on defense with Patrick Chung there, and they do need help on defense. They still need help on the they have plenty of weapons on offense right now with Dante Stallworth now and Brandon Lloyd, Welker, Gronkowski, Hernandez. So they have plenty of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. They maybe still need a little help on the defense. They did get some few defensive guys, this past week. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. And when we come back, we're going to touch on the Red Sox starting rotation, who is starting for them in 2012, and who is going to be starting for them in the home opener. That's next on Sports Talk. Welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Steven Atkinson, and we're going to switch gears now to spring training in the Boston Red Sox. And who is going to be their starter on April 4th against the Detroit Tigers at Comerica Park? And that person, Bobby Valentine, has said, is John Lester. He is making his start again, his second year in a row, to start for the Red Sox against the Tigers. He started opening day last year, too, with the Rangers, and that didn't go over too well. They lost, and he didn't really pitch that well. And the person that is starting the home opener is going to be Josh Beckett. Josh Beckett will be starting the home opener, I think, because probably to make a statement to the home fans that, last year is last year and this year is this year, and we're going to, start off strong and start on a good note, and I hope the Red Sox do. And Bobby Valentine has expressed his emotions about this team, not talking a lot about last year. This is a new year now. We're going to, stay focused on this year. And they've been playing pretty well in, spring training, so hopefully they'll keep it up and they will make a run for the playoffs this year. And like I said, I think a few weeks ago, I think they'll make a second wild card. So we'll see what happens. As regards to the Bruins, they're kind of slumping right now. They did blow out the Toronto Maple Leafs yesterday, 8-0. That was a huge win for them. They really came together, and I guess they're starting maybe to improve a little bit. I think they have a 2-game winning streak right now, so we'll see what happens with the Bruins. I hope that they pull it together. With Thomas and their goalie situation wasn't really working out, but hopefully they'll get it together, and by May, when the playoffs start, it's a new season, so hopefully they'll pull it together and make a run in the playoffs. And again, as far as the Celtics are concerned, they beat the Atlanta Hawks, I think yesterday, 79-76. And again, I think they'll make a run. They'll make a run for the playoffs too, and they have a fair shot. Again, they were an old team, but I think if they come together, I think this is the last year that the Big Three are going to be around with Ray Allen. Supposedly, I guess was really close to getting traded to the Clippers last Thursday. It was like at 2:59 or something. It was like a minute before the trade deadline that Ray Allen was going to get traded to the Clippers, and the owner said no, or it fell through or something. So that's pretty interesting. The report's going out today that Derek Fisher is interested in two teams. He's interested in the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he's interested in the Miami Heat. Now, the Miami Heat are stacked anyway. If they get Derek Fisher, that's like an all-star team. So I guess they need a point guard. So, if Derek Fisher goes to the Miami Heat, they're gonna be a very dangerous team come June into the playoffs. So we're going to now switch. We're going to go right into the free agency again. Peyton Manning, 3 o'clock today, he will be announced as the new quarterback for the Denver Broncos. And I wish him the best in Denver. I really do. And I've heard that Jeff Saturday is making a visit to Denver. I know he's visiting with the Titans, and I know he's visiting with, I think, Green Bay. But Jeff Saturday's making, if they bring some of them back, I think that would be cool. Maybe they can force Marvin Harrison out of retirement. I heard that report too. I don't think that's going to happen, but I heard a report, or I heard something that Marvin Harrison may come out of retirement, or they're going to try and take him out. I don't know. They do need another receiver, but we'll see what happens. And the 49ers, and there was a report that Tebow might go to the 49ers. If Tebow goes to the 49ers, I don't think Randy Moss will be too happy. I think Moss will be starting day one of training camp. I think he'll be a distraction in that locker room. He will be a total distraction if he goes, because he'll probably say this guy is not an all-pro quarterback. I'd rather have Alex Smith than Tim Tebow, because Alex Smith, at least he has more experience and he knows what to do in a playoff situation rather than Tim Tebow. And Alex Smith is probably going to re-sign with the 49ers, and David Garrard is probably going to go to, he's already went to Miami. So the fastest 2 minutes we're going to touch on every topic we talked about today, starting off with the Peyton Manning. Good luck, Peyton Manning, and I hope you do well in Denver. With Tebow going to the Patriots, I hope Tebow goes to the Patriots. It's a great opportunity for him to get to know the system and get to maybe feel for it in 5 years from now. As Tom Brady retires, can Tebow fulfill Tom Brady's shoes after he's been in that system for a while? Maybe. And I also want to say the Patriots free agency, I think they're still in there. I think they still need a few guys to seal the deal, but hopefully it will all come together. The Red Sox, I can't wait for baseball season to start in like 2 weeks. So I want everybody to have a great week. Happy spring. And that's it from me from Sports Talk.